how to become a process improvement professional. This is the final step in our 6-part series. So if you haven't watched the other one, if you're just starting, go back. But if you are here and you're saying, hey, I am killing it, I feel like I've gone as far as I can, let's talk about how we future proof so that we can make sure that in the future process improvement jobs are still out there, that you're still relevant, and that we can continue to grow. I know AI has exploded and we think it's the answer to everything, but if you're at this level of process improvement, you know it's just the next fad. It's just the next robot that's out there. And it's really important for us as humans to decide, how are we going to use those robots, right? We can automate trash, but that's not what we want to do in process improvement. We don't want to automate waste. We want to make sure that all the systems that we put in place are going to make a difference, that are going to increase the value to our organization and to our customers ultimately. And so AI can help us with that. But AI isn't necessarily like, hey, this is the future and this is the only version of the future that we can pursue. So let's talk about how you can future-proof your role. If you're currently in process improvement, whether you're leading a program or a professional, I want you to think about aligning yourself to operations. As organizations ebb and flow, the closer your team is to operations, the more they report to operations, the more likely you are to be able to ride out those ebbs and flows, the more likely you are to not be cut as a layoff. Right? So I want you to think about, where are you at in your organization, and are you really reporting to the right group? Can you align yourself with operations more than you are today? That's going to be the best way to future-proof your role. The other thing that you want to always do is think about, is your program offering a return on investment? So when you have a Lean Six Sigma program, there is a cost to that program. Now, I don't generally take into consideration every person that's participating in the program and the time that they're taking for that. I'm just talking about the cost of your program in terms of full-time or part-time roles, and in terms of training or budget costs, as well as supervisors and managers. So if you have this cost to the organization, are you creating a return on investment? Do your projects generate enough value for you to see 3 times what you cost going back into the business every year? If you don't, it's easy for leaders and managers to look at the budget and say, this team is not providing value. So I want you to think about, how can you create this? Now, this is something that I work on, that I focus on, is creating thriving process improvement teams. So if you want to talk more about how to create a thriving process improvement team and achieve that return on investment, then just go ahead and shoot me a message. Now, what I want you to also think about is, how does your team fit within the entirety of the organization? If the organization is starting to bring in human-centered design, an agile or project management role, or similar roles to yours that are around improvement, how do you fit within all of that? How do you interact with those teams? What is your brand? Right? So what I want us to think about is more about process improvement or continuous improvement as a brand. And I will say, over the last few years, our brand has not done well. Our brand hasn't done well at selling itself. We're still stuck in 1980s Greenbelt. This isn't the formula that's going to be successful 20 or 30 years into the future. So we need to drink our own Kool-Aid, and we need to be flexible and adaptable to the changes that are coming. Now, no matter what other kind of version of process improvement is out there, if you go deeper, you realize that they're using the same tools. They put value to the customer at the center of everything they do. They may look at how to identify waste or eliminate waste in their processes, how to pull their work through a Kanban, right? So they're all using these same concepts that we're familiar with. What you may need to do to brand yourself is to learn the jargon of those, so that you can use that interchangeably with these process improvement methodologies. This is going to be a way that you can counteract the effects of those other teams that are coming in, or you may decide to jump on their boat because you already know all the tools that they're using. They just have different words for it. So think about those different teams that are out there and how your team fits in that. What we want to do is to increase the positivity around process improvement. One of the worst things that we do over and over again within our process improvement teams is to negatively impact the people that work with us. So one of the things I've talked about before are the toxic organizational behaviors that make people just absolutely hate process improvement. Stop doing those. Stop doing those. Stop using process improvement nefariously to cut heads. Stop having process improvement coming in as a leadership fad when leadership doesn't have any idea, that they're completely ignorant of what process improvement is. Stop believing in magic, thinking that magically, if I send somebody to Greenbelt, it's going to magically have millions of dollars of benefit, even though I give them no resources. Stop. Stop adhering to tradition. Stop adhering to 1980s Lean Six Sigma. Think about how you can take what you know and be adaptable and flexible to change. We've talked about here in this entire series of how to become a process improvement professional, of you growing your understanding of the underpinning skills of process improvement. We've talked about you choosing a specialty and going deeper. If you're an expert, if you're building that expertise, you should be able to be flexible and adaptable to the changes that are coming. So I want you to also think about not just those changes in terms of skills, but also technological skills. So that might be another place that you need to grow your understanding so you don't get left behind. At the end of the day, the most valuable thing that we have as process improvers, is critical thinking. We are critical thinkers. Everything that we've learned, everything that we preach, everything that we do is about critical thinking. That is a skill that is going to be valuable. That is an absolutely essential skill. So I want to congratulate you. If you're at this point that you've gone through this whole progression and you're at the point now where you're watching this and you say, hey, I'm actually here. I'm a process improvement professional today, and I've continued my journey. I know what I'm doing, and I am an expert in my field. I just want to say thanks. Thanks for watching this. Really cool. I'd love to connect and see the cool stuff that you're doing. If you're leading a program and you're saying, I want to create this for my teams, please reach out and let's talk about how you can make sure that you have that return on investment for your team, that you can have that thriving PI program team and create really happy process improvers, really having that respect for people so that we keep that positive brand going for process improvement, because there are so many benefits to all. Thank you so much for joining me, and as always, happy improving.